and welcome to a new video. So someone recently left a comment on one of my videos and I felt it warranted a new video response. And that comment was to claim that the RF 800mm lens is way sharper than the 100-400 with a 2x extender. So I thought we'd test this theory out because I recently done a video comparing these two lenses against each other in the real world outside. And it's had a fair few amount of views and people have made some comments to suggest that they were surprised that the 100-400 did so well. However, a recent comment that was left suggested that the RF 800 is way sharper, and I wanted to test this theory out. So I got a lens sharpness test, put it up and took some pictures of these two lenses, and let's jump to the computer now and have a look and see if that is actually true. Okay, welcome to the studio. So I've made this video in response to someone called Nordyke, who has put a comment on one of my videos, and he said the following: I have the RF 800 and it is way sharper than my 100-400 Mark II L with a 2x extender, 800mm. There is no comparison, the RF 800 wins hands down. Now, Nordyke, if you'd watched my other video that I've done, and I'll put a link in the description box, you will be able to see that the real world examples that I showed you were very similar, and many people commented and they were surprised that the 100-400 was so close to the RF 800. As I've said in that video, focus speed is very similar when you put the 2x extender on the USM motor. USM motor is faster than the STM motor in the RF 800 lens, but when you put a 2x extender on, it sort of slows down the USM where it matches the STM. So when it came to focus speed, I thought they were very similar. And keep in mind, the 100-400 combo can focus a lot closer than the RF 800. But when it comes to image quality, and that's what we're looking at here on the lens sharpness test card, I want to show you examples and you'll be able to see the example for yourself. You know, I'm not here to make your mind up for you, but show you examples, and it's up to you to come to your own conclusion. You may agree with me, you may disagree with me, but I welcome people to have constructive criticism, and if they feel the test is slightly wrong, please let me know. But we're going to have a look at this example here and see how sharp the 100-400 is compared to the 800 using a sharpness test card. So without further ado, let's zoom into the test card on the combo 2x extender. So let's zoom in there at 100%, and that's the sharpness that is being produced, and it's not bad and it's not fantastic either. As you can see, these circles here are quite blurred out. This circle here has a bit of blurriness to it. Same with this spiral and that spiral as well. It's not super great, but it's not bad. Let's have a look at the RF 800. Now, one thing to note, because I feel the 100-400 is closer to 370 or 380mm, the 800mm is zoomed in a bit more than the combo. Just keep that in mind. So let's zoom in there at 100% and have a look. Again, I'm seeing some blurriness in this circle here. These spirals are not very clear. There's a bit of softness to the X and circle here. And again, when I put my attention onto these circles, you can see they're quite blurred out. So let's do a quick comparison. Let's go back to the 2x. There's a slight difference in contrast. It looks a bit different, but it's giving more or less the same result to my eye. It's very, very similar, if not extremely close. And to be honest, when I look at these images, I'm finding them really hard to tell the difference between them two. You can clearly see that the sharpness is very similar. But just to look at other areas, I think it's a good idea to look at other areas in the frame. This is the bottom left corner that we're looking at, and we can have another look at and assess the image quality in the corners. And you know, these lenses do tend to suffer with you know, softness in the corners, generally speaking. That's what all telephoto lenses have a negative effect on. But let's just go back to the 100 to 400 with the 2x, and while it's not terrible, it's pretty reasonably sharp, I think. And then let's have a look at the RF 800. Again, I think we're getting similar result. You know, it's not super tap sharp, but let's zoom in into these, that box there, really close, 300%. I know this is way more than anyone would be zooming into any sort of image, but I'm going to try and get an idea on sharpness comparing the two, and to do that you have to really pixel peep. So that's the image for the 100 to 400 with the 2x extender. And this is the RF 800, and I'll be damned if I can tell the difference between the two in terms of sharpness. They seem to be as good as each other, and sharpness is very similar. The only thing I might say is there might be a tiny wee more chromatic aberration in the 100 to 400 because you're using that extender, and obviously you are losing a bit of contrast in your images, because every time you're using the extender it does affect your contrast. But when it comes to sharpness, I can't really tell the difference. Let's go into the top corner where the numbers, the letters are. Let's have a look, see if we can see any difference here. Look at that Z. See if we can find the Z at the top. Okay, there's your Z at the top right hand corner in the 100 to 400 Mark II with the 2x extender, and this is the RF 800. And if I'm honest with you, there's no real difference in sharpness at all. As I've said, I think the RF 800 controls the chromatic aberration a bit better. But then again, you know, this lens has a 2x extender on it, and you know, if I look at these black bits here, it seems to be a tinge of magenta there, and maybe a tiny bit of magenta there and there, which suggests a tiny amount of chromatic aberration is creeping in. But you know, there's not much difference in the sharpness. So as a little additional, I thought I would have a look at the 1.4 extender as well. So this is the 1.4 on the 100 to 400, and I do want to have a look at sharpness. Obviously it's less focal length, so you're talking 560mm versus 800. Obviously there's a big difference there, but you know, I want to give you a fair comparison on sharpness. So when we look at these images and we look at the 1.4, it is a lot sharper. You know, going a bit more there, going a bit more there, going a bit more there. So the 1.4, it's clearer, it's more obvious. Even these circles seem to be less blurred out. Looking at the 2x, obviously you can say it's not a great showing in the middle, and obviously these circles here are a bit on the blurry side. We look at the RF 800. I think it's showing very similar to the 2x, to be honest with you. You know, that's the 2x there, that's the RF, and that's the 1.4. So obviously it gives you more of an idea. Let's just go down to the bottom just to give you more of a comparison. We can zoom in there. The 1.4 versus the 2x versus the RF. So that's the 1.4. It seems fairly reasonable. Here's the 2x. Obviously we are seeing some softness. And here is the RF 800. And it's really difficult to tell the difference. Yeah, make your own mind up, guys, but They're so similar, you know, in terms of quality. I'm really having a hard time separating them between each other. The distance we are away from the actual image is 6 meters, approximately 6 meters from the test card. So focus breathing doesn't seem to be a big issue here when it comes to those sort of distances. But like I said, it just doesn't seem to be that different in terms of quality. Let's have a look at this number 4 box here. So let's zoom in there. That's on the 1.4. Let's do the same on the 2x, and let's do the same on the RF. Because obviously this commenter have suggested that the RF is way sharper. So that's the 1.4, which seems pretty decent. Here's the 2x, it looks a bit softer. And here is the RF 800. RF 800, 2x. RF, 2x. Guys, make your mind up, you know. Don't take my word for it. You know, you're welcome to disagree with me. That's the whole idea of debate and discussing things, that we can all have different opinions, and just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean they're a bad person or something like that. It's just the world would be a very boring place if we all agreed with each other. But I just wanted to point this out, you know, because obviously some people do get a bit wound up with the videos that I make, and they think I'm not being honest and not presenting the truth. But I'm trying to give you the true sharpness of these setups. You know, the free combos are really handy to have. The thing for me that has the benefit with the 100 or 400 with the 2 times is it has a minimum focus of 98 centimeters, which in effect is 1/6 of the distance of the RF 800. And it also has the benefit of you have the option of taking those extenders off and then just using your 100 to 400 as you normally would, which is an incredibly sharp lens on its own. But when you put extenders on, it sort of degrades the image a little bit. I recently did a video comparing the 70 to 200 versus the 100 to 400 with the 2 times, and you know, both being at 400mm, which was the sharper, and the 100 and 400 was clearly sharper. Please check that out. I'll put another link in the description box if you want to see that one as well. But I just wanted to discuss the 2 lenses, and please watch the real world examples that I showed you in that other video. Again, the link will be in the description box. You need to go and watch that video because you'll see some real world examples, not just lens sharpness test cards that we're looking at here. But I just wanted to show you the difference looking at a lens sharpness card, and I was really shocked when I looked at this. I thought, hang on a minute, they're as sharp as each other in my opinion. You know, all you have to do is go into 100% or even 200% and have a look at those at the sharpness, and you know, you must agree there that they look very similar. You know, looking at that at 300%, these blurred out circles, which I like to spend a lot of time on looking at, you know, they're very similar in sharpness. In terms of the softness, it behaves in a different way, but overall sharpness seems to be very similar. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to slate someone for having a different opinion to me, but I just wanted to show you where I'm coming from and why I think they're equal as each other. But when it comes to the 1.4, then there is a big difference here. Let's zoom right in there at 300% as I did before. 300% here. 300% here. So that's the 1.4. Looks fairly good, doesn't it? Let's have a look at the 2x. not so great. And then we look at the RF 800, and that doesn't look that great either. So I just wanted to compare sharpness. Hopefully this video was a bit enlightening, so you understand where I'm coming from. And again, please check out those 2 other videos I'm linking in the description box regarding my real world examples video that I did on the RF 800 and the 1.4 with the 2x extender, as well as the 70-200 with a 2x versus the 100-400 Mark II. Again, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that does subscribe to my channel. Please like the video, it helps people find videos like this. It helps the channel grow, and I do appreciate those people that engage, because I do think it's interesting to talk to people with different perspectives, different experiences, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me so far and looking at those examples on the studio part of the video. In conclusion, I think they produce very similar results. I really found it really difficult to separate the two in terms of image quality. Yes, you will take a slight hit with contrast using an extender, but that's true of any extenders. But when you put the 2x extender on the 100-400 Mark II-L, while it does slow down your autofocus, the STM motor in these RF lenses isn't that super fast either. So where the USM motor is a lot quicker, once you put this on, it slows it down quite a bit. And I think when you compare the speed, they're about even Stevens in terms of focus speed. But there is one big advantage that I don't think many people are talking about. The minimum focus on this RF lens, right, is 6 meters, and that's massive. The minimum focus on the 100-400 is 98 centimeters. That's just below 1 meter. Even when you put this extender on, you still retain that minimum focus. And the closer you get to your image, the closer you get to your subject matter, the sharper your photograph will be, and the better your image will be. So in terms of that respect, this lens combination could be better if you want to get closer to your subject matter. But in general, the image quality is pretty much even. I found it difficult to separate the two. You know, you may disagree with me, you may agree with me. You know, it's okay to disagree with each other as long as we do it in a polite manner. And I just want to say a big thank you for watching my videos. And if this was of interest to you, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video, I would really appreciate that, because it's like a pat on the back and it helps other people find videos like this. And thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great new year. Unfortunately, we've all got to get back to work at some point and get on with life, and that's just the way it is. Anyway, see you later in the next video. Bye bye.